Latinbox Sports. I'm here with the WBC featherweight
Squad.
champion
That's
of the
right.
world,
That's
Gary
right.
Russell Jr. How you doing this morning, Gary?
Man, I'm wonderful, man. I'm a little on edge. Both of my younger brothers about to compete. They had a great camp. Hopefully everything works out just as planned. But I'm ready to get this show on the road, man.
Not for nothing, but this is exciting that you're able to really mentor them and help
Right.
them develop
Right.
where they're at right now. Give us some feedback on them going into the ring tomorrow and what you expect out of them.
I expect, more importantly, a great deal of defensive discipline. A lot of fighters can get away with throwing their punches incorrectly. You can't get away with not being defensive disciplined. Stuff like that be able to take the course of the fight and change it dramatically. So that's one of the biggest things we're working on. My younger brother, Gary Antonio Russell, for 118, he has very deceptive punching power, and that's going to separate him a lot in that lighter division. Gary Antoine Russell, the 2016 Olympian, he's a bigger Mr. Gary Russell Jr. He brings the hand speed, he brings the punching power. He's still learning. They're both still learning, so they're on the job, and they're trying to get their IQ to where we would want it to be. They're both very, very talented fighters, and they're gonna get these guys hell. Oh yeah.
Pretty much so. They're up and coming and they're great young phenoms, great young
That's
stars, man. We look forward to seeing them tomorrow
That's
perform. Champion, WBC, your last knockout in the ring was back in May.
Right.
How are things going for you? Have you started training camp? Are you looking at a fight in the near beginning of the year 2018?
Training camp hasn't started, but I'm always training. I'm one of these guys, after I fight, I'll compete maybe Saturday, get home Sunday. I'm the type of guy that will still be in the gym that following Monday or Tuesday. Of course, I'm not training as if I'm getting ready for a fight, but I'm like a fine-tuned car. You gotta cut it on, and you gotta stay in constant motion. You gotta rev the engine every once in a while, change the oil, and etc. So we're always in constant motion. We're trying to set something up. I want to get a little more active coming up. I want to get a fight in maybe February time frame. And I keep hearing this stuff about what's the young kid? Golden Boy has. What's the kid's name? What's the kid's name? Help me out.
Well, Jim, I'll tell you what. Look,
JoJo. That's his
okay,
name.
JoJo Diaz.
JoJo
Okay,
Diaz.
are you hearing call-outs from JoJo Diaz? What's your response, or do you have any thoughts?
I mean, I feel as though that he worked his way up the rankings based upon the fact that Frampton lost weight on the scale because he's supposed to have been competing for the mandatory spot because Frampton was number one in the WBC, but he lost weight on the scale. I find that very hard to how that happens when he's moving up in weight and you lose the weight on the scale on the fight that gives you the opportunity to get a chance to challenge Mr. Gary Russell Jr. for the WBC world title, and you decide to lose weight on the scale. JoJo, on the other hand, he tends to get that spot because now Frampton is no longer non and void. JoJo, he's a younger kid. I think he's a good fighter. He's in over his head, though. He's in over his head. I'll be surprised if Golden Boy really wants to put them in the ring with me as of now. I'm not sure if that's what they really want. You got to be mindful when you're dealing with fighters. Managers and promoters and etc. plays a big part of how your career goes. And it might not be a smart business investment or business move to put this young up-and-coming fighter, JoJo Diaz, in the ring with Mr. Gary Russell Jr.
Well, we appreciate those comments, champion. And let's talk about holding the green belt, the WBC, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's humbling. What are your thoughts of being the champion of the world?
I feel as though this is where I'm supposed to be. After me not being able to compete in the Olympics, the only way I feel as though I could make it up to my fans and friends and the people that genuinely supported me was to become a world champion. I accomplished that fate. I didn't want them to feel as though that any of their support was in vain when it came to supporting me. I'm trying to unify. I want any of the other champions to see me, to come and fight me. No one's in a rush to get in the ring with me. You hear these guys tend to mention my name, and it's becoming somewhat of a art to get publicity for themselves, because now people is wondering, well, who is this individual that wants to get in the ring with Mr. Gary Russell Jr.? But in all actuality, they really don't want to get in the ring. When my management team, when my team goes and approaches these people about making a fight happen, it doesn't happen. You know, so we don't get caught up on the smokes and mirrors, anything like that. As long as I got this strap, I guess I'm the gatekeeper. Can't nobody have it until I decide to give it up. That's just what it is.
That's awesome, champion. We appreciate
right.
that. You know, another thing, you know, it's awesome. You know, in order to keep it, you have to give it away.
That's right.
You have some very special plans with the amateur boxers up in Washington area. Expand on what you've been doing and give us some feedback on what's going on.
I'm actually in the process of trying to create my own amateur tournament. I remember when I was coming up in the amateurs, in order for fighters to get to the point in which that the fans see, it was a process they got there. You know, it was a lot of money, a lot of energy, a lot of time that my mother and my father had to produce when I was in the amateurs to make these tournaments, these hotel fees and plane fees and etc. It was very costly. And me becoming a world champion because of their sacrifice, and I see these younger fighters, and I am now in a position to be able to play it forward. You know, so I got a couple guys. We had maybe 70 kids to fly down to DC, you know, to my hometown, to my gym. And we picked 13. We put them through an extensive training camp. We put them through like a 5-day camp. And we picked 13 kids from all over. And we picked these guys to represent Team Russell. Of course, we sponsor them and do everything for them. And I'm egging on any of the other champions, any of the other world champions out there. Get your team together. We're from the ages of 10 to 16 years of age. Get a team together. Let's make something happen. Let's play it forward, and let's live by example for these babies, because to invest in these babies is to invest in our future. We paved the way for them. We got to play it forward.
Well said, champion. We appreciate this interview, and you know, give a shout out to all your fans.
Man, that's right. To the fans that love Mr. Gary Russell Jr., thank you. I love you. To the people that dislike me, it's cool. Thank you. I love you, because I get my motivation from that as well. Tune in, man. Stay tuned.
Thank you, Gary.